This is MTG Burgeoning, and in this video we are going to update and upgrade our Morophon the Boundless Shapeshifter with Changeling EDH deck. Thank you for joining us for another installment of the Up and Up series. Today we are updating and upgrading our Morophon the Boundless Shapeshifter with Changeling EDH deck. We have our deck here. We have our Changeling pool here. A Changeling pool that is home to over 100 different tribes. If you want to learn a little bit more about this Morophon the Boundless deck, you can go searching in the description below. You can click the link to see this build's deck tech. You can also click to see the up-to-the-moment updated complete deck list of this build, in addition to viewing the video primer series. Before we get started with the cards going in and the cards coming out, this is step one of MTG Burgeoning's attempt to go all in with the Changeling mechanic. Well, not so much the Changeling mechanic, but we're going all in with making this the ultimate tribal build. Prior to focusing on the overall tribalness of this build, we were just mainly focusing on the spells, the creatures, the tribes, the Changeling pool, and just left the mana base as unrefined from a tribal standpoint as possible. Well, no longer. If we're going to go all in with tribe, we're going to go all in with tribe. So this is step one to start turning over the mana base and turning it as tribally as possible. So we've got a half dozen quote-unquote tribal lands going in, and we're going to take out a half dozen lands that were already in the deck that serve similarly functional capabilities. You'll get what I mean as soon as we start revealing and dealing, and we're going to start right away with the very first card and the card it's going to replace. So we're going to line them up here. Card number one, it is the Ancient Amphitheater, which is going in to replace Sacred Foundry. Now, Sacred Foundry is our Boros Shockland. It comes into play tapped unless we pay 2 life, and it is fetchable with it being a Mountain Plains. The Ancient Amphitheater, it can come into play untapped if we reveal a giant card from our hand. If we don't, then it comes into play tapped. So as long as we have one of our shapeshifters with Changeling in our hand, or an actual giant, we can put Ancient Amphitheater onto the battlefield untapped, and not have to worry about paying the 2 life for Sacred Foundry. Now, paying 2 life is not an inordinate burden in any kind of deck, unless it's, you're paying a lot of life for other things, but that's not what we're doing here with Morophon the Boundless. What we're looking to do here is to turn over a mana base that did not have a tribal feel to it. Well, by replacing a Boros Shockland with Boros-colored reveal, and this isn't a reveal land, we'll just call this the Amphitheater land. It gives us the red, it gives us the white, and it can come into play untapped as long as we reveal that giant. So, Ancient Amphitheater going in for some tribal goodness, and it is replacing Sacred Foundry. And you're going to see a trend that's going to continue throughout the duration of this video, because we got 5 more exchanges that are going to be just like that one. For our second swap, it is Auntie's Hovel with a Blood Crypt. Blood Crypt is our Rakdos Shockland, does the same thing as Sacred Foundry, except it taps for a black or a red. Here with Auntie's Hovel, it taps for a black, it taps for a red, and as it comes into play, we may reveal a Goblin card from our hand, and if we don't, then Auntie's Hovel comes into play tapped. Again, just like Ancient Amphitheater, as long as we have one of our shapeshifters with Changeling or an actual Goblin card in our hand, then we can have Auntie's Hovel come into play tapped and not have to worry once more about paying a minuscule 2 life. We're going to hear a lot of echoing here because Ancient Amphitheater is doing for Boros what Auntie's Hovel is doing for Rakdos. We are making our lands more tribal. We're giving the ultimate tribal feel, and this is the first step towards doing it. All right, can you guess what the next card is? There are a number of dual-colored creature-based lands that can come into play untapped. Can you name the next one? Here we go. The third change, it is the Fortified Beachhead going in for Hallowed Fountain. All right, the Fortified Beachhead, when it comes into play, we may reveal a soldier card from our hand, and if we do, it is... Oh, wait a second, this is actually a little bit more than the previous two. We can either reveal a soldier card from our hand, or if we... Wait, what is this? All right, let's just read the card as opposed to just trying to guess what it does. I guess I was a little bit off here. As Fortified Beachhead enters the battlefield, we may reveal a soldier card. And it enters the battlefield tapped unless we reveal a soldier card or if we control a soldier. So this takes the Auntie's Hovel and Ancient Amphitheater tribalness and takes it one step further. Here, we don't have to reveal a soldier. All we have to do is control one on our side of the battlefield. And of course, if we have one of our shapeshifters with Changeling or an actual soldier, then we'll be able to play the Fortified Beachhead without any limitation. And in addition, we can pay 5, tap this, and give soldiers we control +1/+1 until end of turn. Boy, if this is the first of an entire cycle of these lands to come out, man, that's going to make for some amazing power level upping in this Changeling build as it pertains to tribalizing the land base. All right, I bet no one saw Fortified Beachhead coming because I completely forgot about what it did. All right, here we go. We got card number 4 going in, and it is, yes, our Dimir inclusion. We have Secluded Glen. This is going to come into play tapped unless we reveal a fairy card from our hand, and if we don't, well, it's going into play tapped. This is going to replace Watery Grave as you continue to see the trend here. One land replacing the accompanying shock land, and being able to have that land come into play untapped by just revealing its creature-specific card. Here for Dimir, that is going to be fairies. And look at this, we are absolutely making the land base card by card. We're giving it that tribal feel. We've got giants, goblins, soldiers, and now fairies, and we still have 2 cards left just to this video. Like I said, MTGBC, this is just step 1. All right, the 5th change going in. Have you guessed it? Do you think you know what it is? Come on, do you got it? Do you got it? Did you pick the Golgari version? Here we have the Gilt Leaf Palace, which is going to replace the Overgrown Tomb. As Gilt Leaf Palace comes into play, we may reveal an elf card from our hand, and of course if we don't, then it's going to enter the battlefield tapped. Here we go. Now we're going to add elves to our previous 4 tribal lands, bringing our total up to 5 just for this video. We're getting there, baby. We're getting there. We got 1 left. Have you figured out what that 6th one is? Oh, give you a second here to try to figure that out. There aren't as many options as you would think. Magic has not yet released a land like this in every one of their 2-color guilds. It hasn't happened yet. So hopefully they get around to including that in a set here, a set there. I don't know. But not all of the 10 guilds have these types of lands. So for this video for today, our 6th and final land going into tribe it up, it is the Murmuring Bosk. Now this one is a little bit different than some of our previous ones with an added benefit and a slight detriment. So the Murmuring Bosk is actually a forest, so we could, if needed, we could fetch this from our library and get it into play. So as the Murmuring Bosk enters the battlefield, we may reveal a Tree Folk card, and if we don't, then it comes into play tapped. It does tap to add a green mana, or we can tap it to add a white or black mana and have it deal 1 damage to us. Now, having the ability to tap for 3 different colors on a fetchable land that doesn't come into play tapped if we have a Tree Folk, that's a pretty nice card to include. So the white-black portion of this dealing 1 damage is going to replace the Godless Shrine. So that's how we're going to play the Murmuring Bosk, by replacing the Godless Shrine. And there we have it, MTGBC. We have taken step 1 of tribing up our lands. We've got giants, we've got goblins, soldiers, we have some fairies, some elves, and now some tree folk. Let me know your thoughts about these changes in the comment section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things